Welcome back to the dungeon, ladies and gentlemen. Fast recap of week 14. We went 6-9, so I think that's the second losing record I've had on the year. Which just goes to show you how wild week 14 was. My upset alert of the week: Panthers over the Saints did not go through. And the two Monday night games, surprising results for me, honestly. And with the Giants upsetting the Packers as the home team, and then the Dolphins losing to the Titans as the home team. Without further ado, let's look ahead to Week 15. Got some big matchups. No more bye weeks. From here on out, it's full thrust into the playoffs. Playoff picture heating up, and it's going to get pretty intense. I got 16 matchups here to break down for you. All right, let's not waste any time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into this week right here, Week 15. You know what it is. Thursday Night Football, first game of the week, as always, as usual. So we have the Chargers at the Raiders. Raiders coming off of a 0-3 loss. The Chargers just lost Justin Herbert for the rest of the season with a finger injury, needing surgery. So Easton Stick, who actually scored a touchdown, and was able to move the ball for the Chargers in the game when he came in. I give him a chance here against the Raiders, as they've seemed to fizzle out. Looks like they're kind of just losing to get a higher pick. That's what it looks like. Devontae Adams frustrated. Josh Jacobs not able to run nowhere despite having over 230 attempts on the season. So I think this game goes, although the Raiders are at home, they'll score. I have them scoring a touchdown, but Aiden O'Connell is not the answer. And maybe Antonio Pierce, the interim head coach, isn't the answer. So a lot of questions there for the Raiders and for the Chargers. They also have a lot of questions. Brandon Staley still has a job, so we'll see. But I got the Chargers beating the Raiders here. First game of the week, 17-10. All right, now moving on. Three games in a row on Saturday here. So week 15, mixing it up, giving us some, no college football on Saturday. There's a lot of bowl games, so let's throw some NFL in there. Vikings at the Bengals. Bengals beat the Colts at home. They're looking good here, looking to climb up. I think there's going to be three teams that make the playoffs from the AFC North. They're looking to be that third team, considering the Browns and the Ravens are the top two teams. So they have to beat Pittsburgh out of that third spot, of that bottom spot there. So at home against the Vikings, I believe benched Josh Dobbs, made Nick Mullins their official starter. Still struggling to run the rock. Alexander Madison has not had a rushing touchdown all season. This Bengals rush defense held the Colts in check. Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor didn't play that game, but Vikings coming in town here. I see them scoring more points than they did in their win against the Raiders. But I think the Bengals prevail at home. Jake Browning, their backup quarterback, as we know, Joe Burrow's after the season, has impressed highly and played very outperformed what anyone expected, even Bengals fans. So it'll be a fun game here. But I expect the Bengals to win a close game because the Vikings defense is pretty solid, but so is the Bengals. So I got the Bengals winning at home 24-21 over the Vikings. Moving on now to our midday game. It's going to be Steelers at the Colts. The Steelers, I believe they lost. They lost to the Patriots on Thursday Night Football last week. That was pleasant surprise. The Patriots showing some fight. Shout out to Zeke Elliott for having his best career game as a Patriot. But this game is going to be played in Indianapolis. Gardner Minshew disappointed with his performance last week in Cincinnati. Now another AFC North team coming into town. Mitch Trubisky, I believe, is going to start, and he himself told the media that he needs to play better. I do expect this game to go to the Colts. There's just not enough. I haven't seen enough from the Steelers offense to suggest that they're going to be able to score here, especially in a hostile environment. The Colts have a good ground game, and the Steelers have struggled on the ground. So I think this game here favors the Colts, although the Steelers will make it a fight. Will make it a big fight. But the Colts have to earn this one, and they have to stay ahead in the AFC South because the top two teams there are looking to separate themselves, as two teams in that division have 7-6 records, the Colts and the Texans. So I got the Colts winning at home 20-16 over the Steelers. Broncos at the Lions. This is the Saturday night game. Broncos at the Lions. Lions coming off of a loss to the Bears, which I predicted. That score prediction for me was 22-13. The Bears beat them 28-13. So I have the Lions losing score right, but should have gave the Bears 28. That would have been the first one right there, Okay, but anywho, I think the Lions at home here. I don't think they bounce back because I think the Broncos have it already made up in their mind that they're going to make the playoffs. You speak stuff into existence. Their defense is flying around. Not the same defense that gave up 70 points to Miami earlier in the year. Their linebacking core is flying around, and they're generating pressure. They were getting after the Chargers, which typically have a good O line, pass protection O line. So I think the Broncos here make it pull out some crazy magic at the end of the game. I think the team that commits the fewest turnovers will win. So if the Lions do that, I think they win this. But I don't think the Lions will commit the fewest turnovers. I think they will have a turnover or two. If they get away from the run early, it could come back to haunt them because the Broncos defense have been able to take the ball away lately. So I got the Broncos winning here in Detroit, 29-27, and that wraps up our Saturday slate of games. Now on to Sunday. The first matchup is going to be the Giants at the Saints. Giants undrafted quarterback Tommy DeVito won another game. He's 3-1 as a starter. Beat the Packers on Monday night, but this time around I think it's different. The Saints obviously are inconsistent on offense. They are playing at home, and then they are coached by a defensive-minded coach in Dennis Allen, and then their defense is surrounded by veterans. Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore. I think Cameron Jordan's still up front, so they have a very veteran experienced defense, and this is going to be hard for a rookie quarterback like Tommy DeVito to. I think they'll stifle him and shut him down. Even if he tries to make play on the run, he's going to take some hits. I thought he took some hits against the Packers. He got up, of course, but the Saints defense have always played pretty good at home. So this one's going to be a tough one. I think the Giants make it competitive, but not enough to win in the end. I got the Saints winning here, 23-14. All right, moving on, the Bears at the Browns. Bears coming off a big win. Justin Fields is really really trying to fight for the front office to not draft a quarterback with that number one pick, considering the Lions lose out or, finish with that spot, so they give it to the Bears. This is a tough opponent though. Going into Cleveland, they're on the road at Cleveland, which still have the top ranked passing defense. And Justin Fields here, although DJ Moore has been getting loose, Cole Kmet, playmaker there, it's just going to be hard to make plays against his team. If they can run the ball, then this will help them out, and this will give the Bears a chance. But I just don't see it happening. I think Joe Flacco looks at this game as a game that he doesn't need to probably air it out as much. They had a game against Jacksonville where they won, and they had to score in that game because the Jacksonville offense is a little bit more capable of putting up points if you give them possessions. So in this situation, I think Joe Flacco, the quarterback for the Browns, which has been named the starter throughout the rest of the season, is going to play a little bit more conservative. Maybe the Browns run the ball more on the Bears, which and lately have been tremendous in stopping the run. So I figured the team that establishes the run and controls the clock here, time of possession is the key. And the team that controls the time is going to win this game. I think that's the Browns in this situation, winning here 26-16 over the Bears. All right, Falcons at the Panthers, NFC South matchup. The Falcons had a tough loss to the Buccaneers, came into Atlanta, and then they were able to score late, but then the Buccaneers drove down the field and got a touchdown. Wasn't a pretty win. They were outgained by yards, the Bucs were, but the Falcons let one slip away here. Drake London had a career game, over 170 yards receiving. Here's a good chance for him to have a matchup against a pretty underrated Panthers pass defense. Although their record doesn't show it, but most of the Panthers' struggles are on offense due to a lack of weapons and inconsistent play by the quarterback. But for this matter, I think it's a division game. Anything can happen. The Panthers are at home. I see them actually taking the lead first, but I think the Falcons get their running game established and help themselves out. So I really think the Falcons have to bounce back because the Saints will try to win, and then the three top teams in the NFC South are all tied with the same record. So I think the Falcons here win on the road 24-17. All right, moving to the Bucs at the Packers. The Buccaneers are currently in the lead of the NFC South, but going against the Packers team that just came off of a disappointing loss where they missed a lot of plays. Jordan Love had a great play in the end zone that was negated because the Giants defender knocked it out. I think the Buccaneers, and then the Buccaneers secondary is allowing a lot of passing yards. One of the worst pass defenses in the league. Tremendous opportunity here for Jordan Love to try to pick that apart, and he has to because they're fighting to stay in the playoffs in the NFC North and in that trying to get that 7th and 6th spot. So I think the Packers need this game just as much as the Bucs need it. So I got the Packers as the home team coming out on top here. Mayfield versus Love. Don't sleep on Mayfield, but Love is growing into it, and he's played a lot of close games as of late. This is a game where he has to understand that small mistakes and missed throws early in the game will come back to bite you late in the game. And I think he figures that out in this game. Or it could be vice versa. We'll see. That's what's so fun about this. But I got the Buccaneers, or I got the Packers winning, I should say, 31-28 at home over the Bucs. All right, continuing on now, Jets at the Dolphins. Dolphins lost at home. Were up 14 points in the last 3 minutes of the game. Let the Titans come back and beat them. Jets coming off a huge win, beat the Texans by 24 points. Zach Wilson definitely got some confidence from that game as he had 2 touchdown passes, over 300 yards passing, and no interceptions. The Dolphins defense still without Jalen Phillips, and Xavier Howard looked very, very much like a liability in the game against Tennessee. So maybe this is a chance for Garrett Wilson to pick that apart. And then nice to see Randall Cobb getting involved in the Jets offense as well. Jets on the road have typically played better at home, they've typically played better on the road than at home. The Dolphins, I don't see them dropping back-to-back games at home, but this game could be an ugly one. So Tyreek Hill's nursing a weird ankle injury himself, so keep an eye out for that one. Tua Tagovailoa is also without a couple of offensive linemen. I'm not sure if they're going to be there for this game, but it's going to be interesting. Keep an eye on that. See how the Jets generate pressure. How they're going to generate pressure, because this Jets defense is very top tier. So Dolphins at home, I think they do hold on to this one, 21-17. But obviously that's not a given at all, as they have a tough schedule facing them, as they need to prove themselves, go into the postseason with some momentum, because they're not even guaranteed a spot. All right, the Chiefs at the Patriots. This is going to be my upset alert of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Upset alert of the week. A lot of questions about the Patriots, or really a lot of questions about the Chiefs. Obviously, they lead the league in drop passes. Their receiving core and tight end core as well. Their tight ends have drop passes as well. The Patriots, Bailey Zappi started the game when they beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football last week. Ezekiel Elliott had a career game. And I think if they involve their tight ends and throw some underneath routes to the receivers, get them the ball early, they can make plays. I think they can. I think Juju Smith can make plays. Juju Smith-Schuster can make plays after the catch. And I think Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry are mismatches in the red zone. And then considering they're playing the Chiefs, who were obviously a little small there in the middle, I think they can take advantage of this. In Foxborough, I think they upset the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs continue to struggle. I think they're going to commit more penalties than the Pats. The Pats are typically very disciplined. And Bill Belichick, when asked about his future, he said, "I'm all Chiefs." I think he really has something up his sleeve for that team. So we'll see how that plays out. But as of now, that's my upset alert of the week. Patriots 23, Chiefs 21 in Foxborough. Moving on now, Texans at the Titans. They play each other twice in the next 3 weeks. This is the first matchup. Titans at home. Titans got their first road win of the season last week in Miami. So they've won their 4 wins prior to the win yesterday. Prior to the win on Monday night have all come at home. So considering the Texans are very banged up, C.J. Stroud suffered a concussion late in the game against the Jets. He might be questionable. Tank Dell out for the season, and Nico Collins, one of their other receivers, also nursing an injury. And also Dalton Schultz is questionable to return for this game. So it's stacked against them. The Titans, although they've played very mediocre, their defense is very they don't allow a lot of yards, and especially at home, they're much disciplined team and a very physical team. Obviously, Mike Vrabel led team, very physical minded, run the ball coach, and they might run the ball with Derrick Henry 30 times, even if he's only averaging 2.4 or 3 yards a carry, because that's just the mentality here. They'll outlast you is the Titans mentality, and I think they do that to the Texans here. I got the Titans winning 28-20 in Nashville. All right, moving on now to the 49ers at the Cardinals. These are our later midday games, as a lot of the West Coast teams that have home games will obviously have to play later in the game, later in the day because of the Pacific time. Cardinals at home. I like for them to be competitive. I think the halftime score is probably no more than 1 possession, but it's just too hard. It's very hard to stop the Niners without generating any pressure. And as of now, the Cardinals, without sending blitzes, don't have good pass rushers, and unfortunately that's the way to try to disrupt this Niners team. And the Cardinals are also, their run defense is also the bottom 6 and one of the bottom 6 teams in the league, and the Niners will exploit this as long as they can before they open up their pass and deep shots on their play action. So I can see it getting ugly for the Cardinals in the second half if they can't generate a pressure or stop the run. So I got the Niners winning here 34-16 in Arizona in the desert. Commanders at Rams. Commanders coming off of a bye week. The Rams coming off a tough loss, made some very mental mistakes. The coaching, Sean McVay, the time management, and they lost that game to the Ravens in overtime to a special teams play. This could come back and bite them again against the Commanders, who really don't have nothing to lose. Sam Howell is looking to torch this young secondary. But obviously, if he makes mistakes, then that'll open up the doors for the Rams. Obviously, the Commanders' secondary is the worst in the league, allowing the most yards. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua will have some can exploit some mismatches and advantages here, and I think this will outlast them at the end of the game. Matt Stafford has to win this game, or will his team to win this game. Aaron Donald led defense, and Matt Stafford shouldn't see a lot of pressure because after the Commanders traded their 2 edge rushers away, they have not really been generating a lot of pressure. So I think the Rams here prevail at home, 29-22 over the Commanders. The Cowboys at Bills. Here we go. You know what time it is, baby. Look, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Not much to be said. It's a tough place to win a football game, Orchard Park. Cowboys on the road, been dominant at home. Need to prove that they can dominate on the road as well. Bills are back against the wall. They need to win as many games as they can before the season ends because they're kind of fringing on the brink of missing the playoffs. Obviously, they let go of their offensive coordinator 2 weeks ago. Josh Allen's going to do whatever he can to make plays and win this game. And it's going to be a fight, and I can't wait to watch this. So Dallas lost to Buffalo at home last time, so I feel like this time around Dallas owes them back at their place. We'll get a win out of Buffalo on the way home, on the way back to Dallas. So this is going to be a great game. In my opinion, the game of the week. I think the Cowboys here beat the Bills 30-24. Go Cowboys. All right, and then that was the America's Game of the Week. Sunday Night Football is going to be Ravens at the Jags. Jags have actually had the Ravens number in the past couple of years, I believe. I remember a game where when the Jags were really bad, they beat the Ray Lewis, Joe Flacco team 12-7 on a Monday Night Football. Jaguars have a great defense, but so do the Ravens. I think a lot of points here will be scored because these offenses, Jacksonville has lost 2 games in a row and 2 games to AFC North opponents. This will be, I think, predicting the 3rd loss in a row to an AFC North team because the Ravens, I think, are the best team in the AFC. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, when they finish out the games, because they usually play with the lead and they kind of give that up, that's been their knock. I think this time around they hold on to it, and I think they kick a game-winning field goal to win this game, 30-27 over the Jaguars on Sunday Night Football. And then finally, Monday Night Football, the final game of the week, Eagles at the Seahawks. Seahawks here have lost 4 straight games. DK Metcalf, obviously, the book's out on him, get under his skin, and you'll throw him off of his game. It's going to be interesting to see who starts for the quarterback for the Seahawks, though. Geno Smith was inactive with a groin injury. Drew Lock played not that bad against the Niners for the first 3 quarters, and then trying to force some passes as they were down by 12 points, threw some interceptions, and it was kind of a tough sledding for him. Even if he does start against the Eagles, he can make some plays. He can find the mismatches, but the coaching needs to set that up for him. I think Seattle wants to run the ball at home here. I think they are able to attack some points in the Eagles' defense here. But obviously the Eagles, 2 straight losses, they're not trying to lose again too. So this is going to be a great game as well. Obviously, it's not the game of the I wouldn't call it the game of the week, but it's definitely going to be a very worthwhile Monday Night Football game. And 2 teams that are desperately need wins. So I think the Eagles do notch them out here, 28-24 in Lumen Field in Seattle. That wraps up Week 15, though, ladies and gentlemen. Please love is supported. Comment up. Pray everyone goes injury free. We never wish for none of that stuff. This is the game we love to watch and share and have as a community. Obviously, I'm not for none of the sports betting. I don't put no odds on here. I don't look at none of that stuff, and I'm gonna keep it this way for as long as I can, because that's how I think the game should be played. There's people with families out there and kids, and they do this to keep their livelihoods going. So all the grace of God to them, and go Cowboys. Enjoy Week 15, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next episode in the Dungeon of Doom.